video, and in this video we're going to have a demonstration on what is all about Descartes' rule of sign. So in practical meaning, it is a process of identifying the number of possible positive and negative roots of a given polynomial function. As you can see, it discusses the positive and negative, but it is just a possibility. So when you were asked now the number of possible positive roots and the number of possible negative roots, so there are some processes that you need to work out. So now let's go on the next page of this. So here are the steps. So first things first, if you want to get now the possible positive roots, you first count the variation of the sign in f of x. So when you say variation of sign, so it could be plus minus or minus plus. So that will be the first step, and then derive the number of possible positive roots. So the hint there is deduct by 2. So next, if you want to get now the number of possible negative roots, same thing is that you need to count now. However, there are more process because you're going to get now f of negative x in that manner. So let's have some examples so that it's much easier for us to see those steps. So let's go with the first one. Let me just use another color of pen. Let's use now green. So identify the number of possible roots, possible positive and negative roots of the function f of x equal to x cubed minus 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. So I'm going to rewrite now the function. So f of x be equal to x cubed minus 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. Make sure that the function has an order from highest to lowest degree, and then you can disregard if there are some missing terms that would be on the order of the degree. So it doesn't have any concern, or like it doesn't have any effect. However, make sure that it is from highest to lowest. Here, as you can see, it's from highest to lowest. So 3, 2, 1, and then 0. So x raised to 0 is that. Okay, now let's now start counting now the variation. So the variation, you can count that this is positive and then negative. So there will be one variation, 1. So that's the first one, and then minus and then plus, that will be another variation, and then plus minus, that will be another variation. So you have now you can know how the answer of. So let's go. That will be the step 1. You count our step A in our problem. So now you can now write now the possible positive roots. When you say number of possible positive number positive roots, so that would be 3, and then you deduct 1. I deduct 2, and then that will be 1. So the answer is there are possibilities that could be 3 or 1. Okay, so this would be the answer. The possibility is 3 and 1. Now let's go with the other one, which is the possible negative. So from the original function, you have that f of x would be equal to x cubed minus 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. You can now change now the sign. So we need to count now. Remember, on this step, it's f of negative x. So we have now f of negative x. Solving that, let me have that f of negative x. I'm just going to change all the x by negative x minus 4 times negative x squared plus 5 times negative x minus 2. So therefore, that's now the substitution. Now let's solve that. So f of negative x would be equal to, this would be negative x cubed minus 4 times, this would be x squared. So just remaining like that, negative x minus 2. So f of negative x, that would be negative x cubed minus 4x squared minus 5x minus 2. So as you can see, let's count now the number of variation. However, in this manner, no variation, was identified because there is no plus minus or minus plus. So therefore, when you answer that, possible number of negative roots is 0. So this would be the answer. So that's how you look at now this problem. Okay, let's have another problem, which is this one. Okay, let me just rewrite once again. So first things first is that the problem is identify the number of possible positive and negative roots. So let's go with first one with the positive. So let's just rewrite now our function. So we have now f of x be equal to x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed minus x plus 1. Okay, once again, you can disregard if there are missing or a degree there. Just make sure that the order should be from highest to lowest. So in this case, it's in the order from highest to lowest, from 5 going to 0. So we can now count the number of variation. Counting now the number of variation, let's count that. This is plus minus 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. So there are 4. So you can have now the number possible number of possible positive roots as you can see. Wait for a while. So that would be 4 minus 2, that would be 2. 4 minus 2, that would be 2. And then you deduct again 2, that would be 0. So the possibility hint is minus 2 from that. So that would be 4, 2, and 0 are the possible positive roots. Now let's go on the second one, which is the number of negative roots. So once again, this is more laborious. So from the original equation, f of x be equal to the x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed minus x plus 1. So substituting that, negative x raised to 4 plus 3 times negative x cubed minus negative x plus 1. So solving that, if it's odd, it would be negative. So that would be negative x to the 5th minus 2. If it's even, raised to even, that would be positive. So for a while, let me erase that. Oops. So plus 3, then that would be negative x cubed minus negative x plus 1. So simplifying that, negative f of negative x be equal to negative x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 1 plus x plus 1. So let's count down the number of variation. As we can see, when we count that, there would be 1 variation, if I'm mistaken. So there are no other variations, so that would be, am I sure with that? Am I correct with that? Okay, negative. Okay, positive. Okay, that's only 1. Am I right? So, number of possible negative roots is 1. However, if you deduct 2, it would be negative 1. But we are counting now the number of possibilities. So there is no negative 1 possibility. That's why the answer is only 1. So if you were asked how many are the possible negative roots, the answer is 1. If you were asked now how many is the number of possible positive roots, that could be 4, 2, or 0 is the possibility. I hope this video would help you understand the Descartes rule of sign. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.